Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Laura and I'm coming to you from a little island off the coast of Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. I always forget to tell you where I'm coming from. And I'm in my bedroom today, hanging out with Sammy. I decided this isn't the most aesthetic spot, but I just decided that I would record in here today. I didn't even have a chance to fully make the bed because Sammy is laying on it and I didn't want to disturb him. But yeah, I thought it might be fun to sit in here with little Sam and hang out until he decides to leave. We'll see how long he stays for. And just catch you up on what I've been doing and how my summer went and how the beginning of September is going. So yeah, I think last time I recorded was like late July, and I thought that I would be back a little sooner than this, but you know how things go in the summer and with trips and things like that. And we also had some illness in our house early August, so I lost a couple weeks there to sickness. You might be able to hear it like a little bit in my voice still. I didn't get very sick. John and I both got COVID. John got it first and then I got it about 5 days later. I didn't get as sick as John, but I did get like a little bit of that chest cold, so you might be able to hear it still in my voice. But yeah, so here we are. It's the beginning of September and I just wanted to hang out today and do some knitting with you and just catch you up on life. So yeah, hopefully you have something that you're working on that's exciting or inspiring to you that you want to pull out, and maybe we can just hang out a little bit. And I'm going to be working on my sock here and just kind of chat a little bit on what's been going on. I have a little bit of progress to show you on my projects as well, and this is actually a new project that I'll tell you about. And I can talk to you about my Etsy shop as well. I have some Halloween bags that are going to be going in the next few weeks. And I have some other exciting upcoming projects too. So hopefully this is all exciting for you. Oh, Sammy, you are the most dear little dog sometimes. So let's see, where should I start? Why don't I show you what I'm working on first, and I'll tell you what I'm wearing, and then I'll catch you up a little bit on life, and then we can talk about some projects and stuff a little later. Yeah, I think that sounds good. So what I'm working on right now is a sock. I've actually already finished one. You can see here on my sock blocker. This is Hedgehog Fibers Twist Sock, which is their BFL sock. And it's a potluck colorway, so you can't really get it, but I'm sure they have something similar in their shop. This one has a lot of pinks, and it has like a teal, some black, and some yellow and some green. And what I really like about it is it's all these colors that I love, and I usually find them in really bright, you know, saturated colors. This one's almost like the black, I think, has kind of washed everything over a little bit. And yeah, I'm really loving them. You know, they're pink, but they're not like neon pink, and they're just turning out really great. They've been really fun to knit, and they've kind of restarted my knitting mojo, which was kind of gone for a bit. So that's great. What I chose to do on this sock is the folded hem. I don't know if I can show you on the blocker here. I'm actually kind of far from the camera so that you can see Sammy. But what I did is I knit about like a cast on 64 stitches like I always do, and rather than doing ribbing, I just knit 30 rounds before kind of you fold over the cuff And then I catch the loop of my cast on, each stitch of my cast on, and knit it together with the active stitch on my needles, and that folds it over and tacks it down. Hopefully that makes sense. If you're, I think I've said this before, but if you're not a fan of Hedgehog Fiber's original sock, their original sock is like a 90% merino, 10% nylon. It's a bit thinner than some other sock yarns, and it's also like a 4-ply. So personally, I find it a little splitty to work with, the sock. So if you don't like that one, I would recommend picking up the twist sock by Hedgehog Fibers, the BFL sock, if you can find it. It's not as soft, like the Hedgehog Fibers original sock is really soft. That's one thing it has going for it. But if you want something a little bit toothier, a little stronger, more hard wearing, definitely try this one out. It's a 2-ply, and it has that, you know, it knits up like an 80-20, traditional 80-20 that, you know, we're used to working with here in North America. It knits up like how that would, because it's an 80-20. Shocking. So it has 100 grams and 365 meters. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be working on today. I have this little project bag that actually matches the yarn really, really well. This is one that I made myself many, many years ago from like really limited edition fabrics. So nice to have that one pulled out. I love the little squirrel on it. And you can tell it's old because there's no tag on it. I didn't have I Heart You tags for the first few years of my business. And yeah, so it's an old one. So yeah, I'm like, where do I start? Last time I talked to you, I had, yeah, I've been working in the garden a lot. I'd come back from like a backpacking trip on Vancouver Island. Shortly after that, John and I went on another backpacking trip. We went to Strathcona Park in Vancouver Island. It's like an alpine provincial park. I think it's British Columbia's oldest provincial park. And we had never been there before. And it's kind of funny because it's not very far from us, but I was always really interested in hiking around the coast. And so we thought we'd try something a little different, and we'd go into kind of like a more mountainy situation. So we weren't mountain climbing. There are peaks you can climb there that, you know, run to about 6,000 feet, which is pretty big considering that it's still just on Vancouver Island. But we stayed, you know, in more like the Alpine Valley kind of areas. We hiked up to quite a few lakes. I think we were in there for 5 days total. I'm not sure how many kilometers of hiking we did total, but we averaged about, say about 8 to 10K a day. So that was really nice. The bugs, the mosquitoes were so intense. It was early August, but because of the snowpack this year, we had really heavy snowpack in Vancouver Island up in the mountains. The snow had just melted like a few weeks before. So the mosquitoes were in full force. I grew up in, you know, Ontario, which is notorious for its bugs, you know, by the lake country. And this was, you know, just as bad as the worst that I've experienced in Ontario. Like there was one day where we just hung out at the lake and didn't hike one day, and I spent a good chunk of the day in the tent because the mosquitoes were so bad outside that you couldn't even sit outside. It was kind of brutal. That was the worst spot. We were pretty high elevation there, and by the next day the bugs had chilled out a bit. So that was good. But I had like one of those full mesh head nets that I was wearing just to try and keep the bugs off of us. And, you know, bug spray didn't really do anything. Like there was just so many of them. So I don't mean to complain. It was an amazing trip. It was so beautiful. Like words cannot express how beautiful it was up there. And especially because it was such a late season, it was almost like we were up there in like alpine spring. So there were wildflowers blooming everywhere, and there was still snow up on the kind of craggy, like exposed mountains up high. And everything was just really lush and green, and the water was running, and yeah, it was so beautiful. I'm not sure if I told you my social media, where you can find me on social media. I am I Heart You, EWE, on Instagram. That's the name of my Etsy shop. But if you want to check out my Instagram, I did post some photos there. You know, if you're curious to just see some photos and kind of see what I'm talking about, because they're pretty spectacular. I'm not a very good photographer or anything, but the landscape there made it really easy. Today I am wearing my, oh my gosh, what is this called? Today I'm wearing, is this Soldotna? I think it's Soldotna. So this is my Soldotna crop that I'm wearing. I made this 2020 maybe, with a lot of kind of DK scraps. Like you need one full skein of like the main color, the gray, a little more if you want to lengthen it, but then the rest of the colors you can just use basically scraps. And I really like this one. It's turned out pretty well. I'm not super comfortable wearing crop tops, but I did get these cool overalls, which make me feel a little bit more comfortable about wearing a crop top because it's just a little bit of skin here showing. Yeah, it's been kind of too hot for knits. We've had a really nice August, not too crazy hot, but warm. You know, I've just been living in shorts and t-shirts, and it's a little cooler today. It was overcast this morning. The sun's trying to come out. But we should have another nice week of weather coming up, which is great because I've been working on a big project. My husband and I have been renovating, or still in the process of renovating, a fiberglass bowler trailer. If you don't know about bowlers, they are fiberglass trailers. They were made, I think, from the 60s to the 80s. Ours is from 1974, so it's almost 50 years old, and it definitely needed a lot of love. We basically pulled most of the inside, the contents of the inside out, and are in the process of working on, I've been learning how to fix fiberglass, patch fiberglass, and it's been really interesting. It was really overwhelming. I have to admit that a couple weeks ago, I felt like it was just a disaster and nothing was ever going to get finished. But, you know, with the help of a partner, we kind of pushed through some of the things that were really frustrating, and I'm feeling really positive about it now. So I haven't posted a lot about it because a lot of what we've done so far has just been like tear out and pull things apart. John redid the 4 small windows on the sides and redid the glass and redid the seals and cleaned up all the surface rust on the aluminum, and it looks so good. The 2 big windows, we have to wait. We don't have to, but they're pretty expensive. So next year we're going to replace the 2 big windows. And yeah, so we're almost finished filling all the holes on the outside, holes that were created, you know, from removing vents from appliances that we're not going to put back in. We removed the propane line because we're not going to run propane inside. I'm not sure if this is interesting to any of you, but just skip ahead if not. So anyways, we're in the process of just getting it watertight. John has a little bit of work on the fiberglass on the outside to do, and then we can start putting the plates and covers back on. And then it'll be watertight for the winter. And then what I've been working on mostly, because it's small, so one of us works inside, one of us works outside, is I've been working on doing the inside. I've pulled out everything, removing all the rusty screws, removing all the old hardware, removing strange repairs that have been done over the last 50 years. And, now that is all done, that was like a little intense and a bit of a struggle to, kind of get all these stripped bolts and screws and rusty things out. But now I'm in the process of doing a lot of paint prep and painting, and you know how it feels when you get to the painting stage of a project. You're getting to, at least for me, the fun part, the part where things start to look better and where it starts to look finished, and where you start to have a nice, clean, fresh painted slate to work on. So it's been exciting. I've learned a lot. That's great for me. I love to learn new skills and kind of challenge myself a little bit, even though it can be really scary and intense. And like I said, I've definitely had some intense moments in there where I was just like, what did we buy? What have I done? But it's really cute. And if you know anything about bowlers, I think there was only 10,000 of them made, the original ones. So they're pretty sought after and they hold their value pretty well. And fiberglass is just kind of indestructible as a material. So even though it's 50 years old, compared to like a traditionally made, wood framed 50-year-old trailer, like that's not what this is. This is in really good shape. So yeah, I'm excited for that next stage to be done. The goal is to get the inside finished and get it all, back to, having the outside sealed for the winter. And it'll be a really cute, guest space for people if they want to stay in there when they're visiting. And then next year we will be tackling painting the exterior because we had to do a lot of patching of fiberglass, and the original paint is just in need of some refreshment. Sorry, it's not original, but the paint that's on there now, it's like lime green and pink. It's really pretty cute. But we are going to be changing the colors when we do that. So yeah, camping, bowler time, lots of bowler time. I sent my sewing machine into our local, it's not a local quilt shop, it's a local shop that specializes in sewing machines on Vancouver Island. So that's where I bought my machine. It's called Sawyer's Sewing Center, and they're awesome. I bought my machine about 7 years ago, I think, maybe 2015. And so I just decided I wanted to send it in for a little tune-up. I've had no issues with it. It's a Janome. It's awesome. But they take about 4 weeks. They are always busy with servicing, and so they do a 4-week turnaround for servicing machines. So John brought that in when he was in town mid-August, and so I think it should be ready to pick up next week. But I haven't been able to sew. I haven't sewed. I planned on taking this time off to do work on the bowler. But I'm really looking forward to getting the machine back. It's been a while without it, and it's been nice because it's allowed me to really push and get things done around here. But Sammy's snoring, and it's delightful. But I'm really excited to get my sewing machine back and just get back into doing some more regular Etsy updates. And yeah, Sammy needs a new bandana and I can't sew one for him right now, so I'm kind of annoyed. But either way, like I said, sometimes it's really good to have kind of a forced hiatus like this, because it's really pushed me to get some things done around the house and really, really start pushing to do some work on the trailer, because we bought it back in, I think it was in like April, and we had such a wet, cold spring. It was really hard to get any work done on it. And then, my husband he works at the fire department here. He's a firefighter, first responder. And it just gets busy here in the summer. We're a touristy place, and it's a small department. It's almost all volunteer except for just a few paid members, which he is one of. So yeah, there's just a lot going on. They do a lot of public education at the market and stuff. Either way, so John got busy, and then we were just struggling to get anything done on the trailer. So having this last few weeks has been really, really helpful. And I'm excited about it. Maybe on the Instagrams, I will start posting some more pictures when things start to look a little better in there, and you can check it out there. Yeah, so that's pretty much what I've been doing. Like, I feel like there's something else I wanted to tell you about, like in that vein of like life stuff, but I can't really think of anything right now. So I guess we'll just move on here. So yeah, what are we today? It's like maybe September 8th. That sounds right. It's a Thursday. Yeah, so the other project I wanted to give you a little update on is, it's in this Knit Picks All You Knit Is Love bag. Oh, and my friend actually, when we bought the trailer in the spring, my friend gave me this little enamel pin. Isn't it sweet? It's a nice little gift, so I popped it on there. So in this bag is my Cozy Classic Raglan sweater. So this is the Cozy Classic Raglan pattern, oh, that's upside down, by Jessie Made Designs. And you've seen this before. I think last time I showed you, I don't even know. I think I had finished the cast off on the bottom. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did, because I think I remember complaining to y'all about how long the tubular bind off takes, like doing the Kitchener stitches. I really love the look of it, but the effort is intense. You have to put aside a couple hours. I would recommend a Grocery Girls episode if you're into watching Jody and Tracy. That should get you the majority of the way through your tubular bind off. And then since then I have done a sleeve. So I haven't worked on this too much, but I did want to kind of push through and crank out a sleeve. And then I decided to let myself have a break on the sock, but now I'm going to go back and finish the second sleeve. I am 99% happy with the sleeves. They're okay. I somehow managed to do my tubular bind off really tight. I might redo that. It won't take as long to do on the sleeves. But I tried it on, and the sleeve felt really tight around my arm. I'm not sure if that's going to change. It should change a little bit once the sweater has been blocked, but it's feeling a little pasted on to me. I would like a nice comfy woolly sweater to not kind of show off the ridges of my elbows through the sweater. So I followed the instructions, and sometimes this happens with sleeves. I'm just not 100% sure on how I feel about it, so I decided to wait a little bit before continuing. And then it was really funny. I was watching Kristen from Wool and Vine, and it was a couple weeks ago, and she was talking about a sweater that she had just finished, and she said exactly what I was thinking. She said, sometimes when I knit sleeves, they feel like they're pasted on and they're really tight, and so she just doesn't do any decreases at all. And it's just funny when, you know, you're struggling with something and then someone else just confirms that, you know, it's not just a me problem, it's maybe just the way that these decreases work on my arms. And like, I don't have small arms, I don't have big arms really either, but they're like, you know, they're pretty big up here. So I think I might consider pulling the sleeve out and fixing it. We'll see. Let me know what you think. I really like the fit of the body, and it has an ever so slightly kind of oversized cropped feel to it. So I think I would like the sleeves to match that. Yeah, so let me know your opinions on that. The light's changing here. I think I'm gonna go close this curtain. I cannot tell you how happy I am that Sammy is laying here the whole time with me. He's one of those dogs that usually, like, he wants to be close, but, you know, like over there, laying over there. So yeah, let me know what you think about that. Again, this is the Cozy Classic Raglan. This is a pattern by Jessie made Designs. If you have not ever checked out Jessie made Designs, you know, sorry, I don't want to be rude and be like, what are you doing living under a rock? It's Jessie made Designs. She's very popular for a reason, but if you've never checked out her patterns, or, you know, I would just encourage you to purchase one of her patterns, just because she writes out her patterns in such a unique way. There's so much extra information. There's so many resources built into the pattern on how to customize it for your own body, also how to measure your body properly so that you can get the custom fit. Yeah, you know, she's not like, oh, you can just extend the body. It's like, oh, if you have this much space, you can do this, blah, blah, blah. Like it's all, there's a lot of mathematical formulas that she does for you. And they're just so well thought out. They're like, I really appreciate them. You know, there's a lot of writing, but the information in there is really useful. And everything is just, like I said, very, very thoughtful, down to just the actual style of this raglan increase is so clean. I've never done one like this before, and it looks so good. It's just so crisp. So yes, check out Jessie made if you have never seen Jessie made patterns before. The yarn I'm using is the Knit Picks Swish DK. This is their Superwash DK. This is in the lemongrass heather. It is like a browny, greeny, yellowy heather. And I'm really happy with how this is turning out. I think the gauge is pretty good. The fit is good for me. And yeah, it's been a good substitution for a more expensive yarn. I actually had this in my stash from years and years ago. And I also have, I'm not sponsored by Knit Picks. They don't send me free stuff or anything like that, but I do talk about Knit Picks a lot, so I have an affiliate link. So if you heard about Knit Picks here, or if you're curious to check things out and you want to support the channel, there will be a link down below, along with links to all sorts of other things. So this is pretty much all I've been working on. I pulled out that sweater to kind of get some motivation going, and then once I made some progress on that, I gave myself a break with a fun sock project. So the next thing I want to show you, I just pulled this out because I put a little Grocery Girls sticker on my caboodle, and this was for my like winter lifestyle box that I got for Christmas from them, but I just think it's really cute. And I wanted to kind of show you, it actually works really well as a notions bag. or a notions box. I have, you know, my measuring tape, and I actually have a 9-inch circular in here and some crochet hooks and a bunch of little stitch markers. I have my rose gold stitch markers in here that you can get in my Etsy shop, along with lots of other colors, and some darning needles. Yeah, it's actually super fun. And I guess a mirror if you need a mirror. I'm pretty sure I saw someone else, I think it was Kemper from Junk Yarn, had this as a notions container, and I immediately like went out and got my own. It's like the retro caboodles that you can get again. Like caboodles were so big when I was younger, and this one's sparkly teal, and I think the Grocery Girl sticker just really sets it off. So I wanted to show you that if you're looking for a new notions organizer and you know your little zipper pouch is not cutting it for you anymore, you need some organization. And then the last thing I want to show you just quickly is the fabrics that I'll be doing for a Halloween update. So I want to chat about the Etsy shop a little bit. I have 2 updates in the works right now, the next 2. I'm not sure on dates yet. Like I said, I don't know when my sewing machine's getting back. But the first update will be the Halloween fabrics, I think, because I'd like to get those in so that you can order them and get them and be able to use them to knit in October. Yeah, I try and pick fabrics that are, you know, kind of spooky inspired, but you might be able to still use year round. So this is what I have for this year. I have one more print in the mail, but I'm not sure if it's going to make it before I have to start sewing, so we'll see. So this one is just like this kind of fall garden, but if you can see, actually, oh, they're bouquets, it's not a garden, but either way, so these are fall bouquets and you can see there are little spider webs running through them. I actually love this one because I never got the connection between Halloween and spiders and cobwebs until I moved to the west coast of Canada. My garden and like our yard is full of spider webs right now. The spiders, that's what they do. They come in and they kind of make their homes in the garden right as the fall comes. So I really like this one. And again, it's just really beautiful. Like it's not exactly Halloween. It's just more like spooky season, like fall, like either way. This next one is just like little witchy themed. We've got some black cats and some bats and some cauldrons and a crystal ball and some candles and some very, very fashionable shoes. So this one's very cute, I think. I have a little bit of that. And then from that same collection, this is just all little witches' hats. Like a light pink with some orange and black in there. And then these might be hard to see, but this is like just an all over kind of skull pattern. And then this one will be really maybe difficult to show on camera. Yeah. But these have skulls too, I promise. Oh, there you can see them. So this one will be really subtle, but I thought that was kind of fun. So that's what I have for Halloween bags. I don't do a ton of Halloween bags. I usually pick just a few prints. And then the next update I'm planning is very exciting. I'm going to tell you just a little bit about it as like a little sneak peek on here because I just dropped the panels off yesterday to get printed. I think I mentioned this before. I'm going to be doing a little collaboration with an artist who works here on the island or lives here on the island as well. And she does stamps. So she carves stamps and then she prints fabric with her hand carved stamps. So if you want to check out her shop, I will link it down below. Her name is Steph and her shop is called OMDL Coastal. OMDL stands for Oh My Dear Loves, which are her babies, which I think is really cute. And So she has an Etsy shop where she does mostly clothing. So I have several of her t-shirts and tank tops, and she started printing bandanas, and I think she has some dresses in there right now. Her shop is very cute. I love the kind of West Coast style, and then she also ties in a lot of her family heritage, Scandinavian heritage, Métis heritage. So yeah, it's a really interesting and beautiful collection of images that she prints on t-shirts, tank tops, etc., etc. I think she has some stickers as well, some vinyl stickers. So check that out. And I'm not going to tell you, which designs I'm going to do yet, but I'm very, very excited to tell you more about that, here and on Instagram as we get a little bit closer to them being available. And I think it's just going to be something a little different for the shop. I hope that people, respond positively to it, because, there's always a little bit of a risk in investing in something like this when you don't know whether it's going to pay off or not. But I think it'll just be something a little different from what I've been doing in the shop with just using different fabrics. I don't know. I think it's going to be good. So hopefully you can go check out her shop and check out her designs. And yeah, I'm not, like I said, I don't have timing ready yet because I still have some work to do before all these can go up in the shop. But I think you will probably see my next update in the last week of September. So fingers crossed. You know how I am. If I tell you one thing, you should probably double it. Like last time I was here, I told you that I would be back in like 3 or 4 weeks, and it's been like 6. So, if I think that it's going to be ready in 2 weeks, it might take 3 or 4, but I'm really hoping that I can get this update pushed through and out as soon as I get my sewing machine back. So wish me luck with that. I think that's pretty much all I have to chat with you about today. I am, we're getting into fall. I know everyone's going to be getting cozy with soup on the stove and coffee and tea or whatever lovely warm beverage you like to drink. So yeah, here in the Northern Hemisphere, I know that we are all getting into that fall feeling, and the kids are back in school this week. And we're going to be knitting more, hopefully. So I'm planning on doing a lot more knitting in the next little while. I have a lot of sweaters that I want to knit. And I'm also at some point going to take a good hard look at my current sweater wardrobe and make some decisions about if some of them, I'm ready to let go of, maybe sell or move on from. But on that note, I would like to start recording more regularly and putting out more regular content. So if you have any ideas of things you would like to see from the channel, let me know down below, because I will have, what I find is I generally in about a month, I have enough knitting finished that, it's worth doing a knitting, like what I'm working on, like a vlog content post. But I would like to try and do 2 videos a month. And so I kind of need like other subjects. So, I do things like I go through, if you want to check out past episodes, some of the more popular episodes on the channel have been me going through every pair of hand knit socks in my box of socks, or every sweater I've ever made, or, just something a little like not so much the vlog of this is what I've worked on the last little while. So on that note, if you have any ideas for things you would like to see and subjects that I could maybe do for new episodes, upcoming episodes, leave them down below. Even things that you've seen other vloggers and knitting channels do that you liked, especially if you can let me know who it is. You know, I always want to check out some new podcasts as well. So yeah, I would really appreciate that. If there is a subject that you would like me to just ramble on about, I'm highly opinionated on knitting, yarn, techniques, projects, needles. So if there's a certain thing that you would be interested to hear my opinion on for some reason, let me know. And I would love to tell you how I feel about things. So yeah, so I think I'm gonna leave it there. I don't know how long this episode's gonna end up being after editing, but right now I'm at like 45 minutes for recording, so that's long enough. But again, thanks for coming and hanging out. I hope you like my weird schmozzle of layered quilts on the bed. And I hope you enjoyed hanging out and doing a little bit of knitting with me and lovely dear little Sammy as he naps. So yeah, so I hope you're doing well. I hope that you are feeling happy and safe and fulfilled in what you're doing. And I will be back in a couple weeks, okay? I promise. Bye everyone.